Then I saw blood oozing out of the slit made by the machete. It looked like that of the ram we slaughtered the previous Christmas. I screamed again, this time at the top of my lungs. Shut up, or I will. I felt a blow on my head, then darkness, inky blackness. When I woke up later, it was night. But it wasn't so dark. The night sky seemed to be lighted by flames, even though it was the house and properties belonging to Christians that were burning. Our house too was almost completely razed to the ground. What was left was the charred remains of our belongings and the thick smoke. From a distance I could hear voices chanting, Allahu Akbar. In no time, the smoke was irritating my eyes and filling my lungs. My head felt light and I got dizzy. I fainted again. It's been a week since I returned to my home country after completing my studies in Canada. Being away for 10 years seemed like eternity. Immediately our plane touched down at the Imam Khomeini International Airport at Tehran last week. The warm air that blew brought with it the smell of steamed saffron rice with tagid and kebabs. That was the smell that always filled our little home in Koi. I knew I was going to have a taste of these delicacies as soon as I get down. Since the attack of that fateful day, I never saw my mother again. The smell reminded me of her. It was her favorite. The Johnsons told me that when the team of rescuers came to the site of the carnage a day later, they never found a single corpse. I know my father is dead. I saw his lifeless body as it fell to the ground. But what about my mother and her Bible? What about Baijan with his curly hair and large bright eyes? Will I never see them again? The Johnsons have been my parents since I came to Canada 10 years ago. There were other children who were also like me, orphaned and displaced from different Middle Eastern countries. We all found shelter and love in the House of Hope. Those who wanted to return to their countries were given the privilege of doing so. When I saw the advertisement that Saipa, an automaker company headquartered in Tehran, were looking for a human resource manager, I applied. 2 weeks after the virtual interview, I was asked to resume work. It was hard saying goodbye to the Johnsons and the friends I made in the House of Hope in the past decade. But my mind was made up. 2 days into Workers' Day, HR manager, I was going to lead a committee to conduct an interview to select 2 additional staff for my unit. The last person that came for the interview was a middle-aged man who introduced himself as Izad. Immediately I saw him, he appeared vaguely familiar, but I couldn't really recall if I have ever met him. He met every requirement and seemed the most preferred candidate. The face fitted when he told me he was from Koi, my town. All of a sudden, I saw before me the young man who lifted his machete for my father's head. That night I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned on my bed. I couldn't believe that I would meet the murderer of my father. He was an enemy. The least he desired was death. As I tried to say my prayers in the early hours of the morning, amidst tears, I got stuck halfway through the Lord's Prayer. And forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. I couldn't get past those words. That moment, I knew what God was asking me to do.